kolejnym odcinku podcastu przedstawiamy Wam Kraiga Adamsa, który z zamiłowania do podróży, hikingu oraz minimalizmu zrobił przepis na niesamowity YouTube'owy content. Zapraszamy.
So, hello, Kraig.
Hi.
We are really happy that we can have a conversation with you today, and we appreciate you accepting our invitation. So, yeah, hello, and let me say hello in our language, in Polish language, siemano.
Shimano?
Yeah.
Nice.
Siema or siemano. It's like, you're right. There's a expression in English that is all right.
Nice.
So,
Well, I took the 23andMe ancestry, and there's some part of my ancestors from Poland, so I feel like I should know some.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
do you have any other roots besides Polish?
Mainly UK, but you know, I'm a European mutt. There's a lot of different things, but yeah.
Okay, we're gonna get to some Polish topics later on, but before that, we just wanted to congratulate you because you got married recently. So yeah, that I presume that is a big thing in your life.
Yeah, thank you. It happened really quickly. It's definitely a COVID love. Got married, no big hoopla, which was funny because I've shot hundreds of weddings. So everyone who knew me from that era was like, who's going to shoot your wedding, Kraig? I'm like, nobody's going to shoot my wedding. Just went to the courthouse in Brooklyn or New York and got it done. But thank you very much.
Cheap one, I presume, as well.
Yeah, we can focus on bigger, better things.
How was your honeymoon? I've seen the video, of course, but I just wanted to ask you about maybe more details, like behind.
Yeah, we travel a lot. We've been to Iceland, Puerto Rico. We have Patagonia coming up, and the Israel trip was planned even before I proposed, I believe. And we'll probably go to Israel like twice a year just because of family over there. But it was good. It's my first time in the country. I had, standard expectations, and they were all exceeded, especially, getting to know my wife's, where she grew up and her culture a bit, and the food was so good. But yeah, it was a strange honeymoon. It wasn't a typical honeymoon, I would say, but I liked it.
Are you planning any hikes over there?
Over in Israel, it's kind of flat. You can technically hike anywhere, but I am particular to the mountains. I've kind of been chasing bigger and better stuff, and I've literally stood right before Everest, so I don't think I could get any bigger than that. Yeah. So maybe I need to broaden my horizon and try some different types of hikes. So maybe the Israeli trail through the desert and along the coast might be fun. But man, the more you search for hikes, the more you find. So I'm not worried about running out of hikes to find.
Yeah, well, I've heard you in one of the videos. You said you already have like 100 or something planned. So
yeah, and that's just from me kind of looking. Like if I really spent a couple days researching, I'm sure I could double or triple that list. And one thing that I've been wanting to do is to automate the process of trail research. And I figured some kind of Reddit would be best, where users can submit what they think I should hike and then vote up or down. Because if I just get a ask on Instagram, I'll get hundreds, if not thousands of DMs from people being like, please come to my land and hike.
Okay, so like a database of hike-worthy places, like, right?
What makes a hike worthy? Are you asking, or
no? I'm referring to this Reddit idea. Like it would be like a database of hiking worthy places to visit.
I'm sure that exists in different ways, but that's a really good use of an audience and a community, because it's a really powerful thing to have a bunch of people who follow you. If I try to sell a lens, selling it to my audience is much better than eBay or Craigslist or whatever. I don't know what Poland uses. Facebook Marketplace, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, we do.
But yeah, the more I can automate my community and audience to help me do what I need to do, the better.
Pleasant for your fan base as well, that they can
opt in. It's optional. They can do it if they want. I'm not forcing anybody.
Okay. My next question, which is like the first official question, I would say, it's not related to your marriage, but just wanted to ask you, and it will, and this question will explain itself later on. Are you happy?
Yeah, some things are changing, and I think that throws off your expectations, because I think happiness always comes down to like what you expect versus reality. It's just a measure between those two metrics. So I'm happy, I'm uncertain, I'm hopeful, I'm excited for the future, especially with this big move. You know, I've been in New York City for over 10 years. I've been in the state of New York all of my life.
Yeah.
So this is a big change, especially after like getting married and starting a family. You know, it's a lot at once, but I'm optimistic.
So, do you agree that our happiness is proportional to the number of the things we can live without?
Number of things we can live without. There's almost an infinite number of things we could live. Well, okay. Very precise question coming at me. I see. Is our happiness proportional to the things we can live without? Yeah, like I said, expectations and reality, and past experiences being compared to present experiences can change one's perception of happiness. So if you experience a lot of highs and lows, that's a very broad data set to compare your present reality with.
Yeah.
Expectations are built from the past. So, you know, if you've had a really good year, you might expect hopefully to have a better year compared to that one. So yeah, it's all in comparison, and having things that you live without. Yeah, it can broaden that experience, that data set, I guess.
You lived out of backpack for a year, I believe. Was it a year?
Yeah, I would say so.
Well, you mentioned you kept coming back home after every trip. So, first question, and a very simple question, is why is that you kept coming back? And was it a homesickness, or full-time escapism is really difficult to manage?
Yeah. During the time that I was living out of a backpack, I was still growing in confidence as far as just the content I was creating, and that had to do with it. There was a lot of stuff changing with my relationships, with, you know, my work. I kept coming back because most people travel, and it's always secondary to where they are going to come back. Like, most people have a home, so it is a new practice. It's a little more difficult to like be comfortable and feel like you're home while traveling. And you know, because you can't always just like go out and do crazy stuff when you're traveling all the time. Like, some days you just want to like relax and watch some Netflix and like not go outside, which is kind of crazy when you're traveling, because you're trying to maximize every second, because you're spending a lot more money when you're traveling, typically with hotels and food and travel, than if you're back home. So you can justify just like relaxing and recovering. So I didn't really find the correct equilibrium of like recovering energy versus spending energy. And yeah.
I wanted to ask you this question later on, but you mentioned Netflix. So is there any hiking, or I don't know, yeah, let's say hiking / trekking / wilderness movie that you like?
Oh, hiking trail. I can't really, like, I've watched things like Alone, I think on Discovery, which is a show about people who are thrown into the wilderness and have to survive, and they document those experiences themselves. I don't really follow the genre too much in TV, social media, or movies, to be honest. Like, the things that I consume on YouTube or TV is just different. And yeah, I'm just not a fan of consuming what I create, I guess, in a sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm asking you this question because I've noticed some kind of pattern in the movies, and I mean like Hollywood movies. Let's say, like for instance, Into the Wild, or there's another movie about hiking with Reese Witherspoon. I don't remember what was the title. Doesn't matter. But there's a pattern that clearly indicates that people who hike, look for life in that wilderness, have trouble, have issues, they are lost. Do you think those kind of movies make hikers justice, if you know what I mean?
Yeah. The trope of like escaping your
Yeah.
yeah. I know what you're talking about. There's the guy who went to Alaska, that movie, and then there's Wild with Reese Witherspoon. She's escaping her own troubles. Yeah, that's a funny trope. I get that. And people who just do day hikes or small overnights are different than like the real through hikers in America, which is definitely a thing. People doing the Pacific Crest Trail or this CDT or the AT. So these are hikes that are 3 to 4 months long, spanning from like Mexico to Canada. And it's funny getting to know that type of hiker, which I think is a little different than my audience. I would much rather do a bunch of smaller hikes all over the world than to hike for 3 or 4 months. And it's definitely a single man's game. Like if you're a bachelor, if you're single, dude or a chick out of college or out of high school, that's like the perfect time to do like a long distance hike, I think, because, it would be really hard for me to leave my wife and my puppy and my home for 3 or 4 months. Even if I'm like shooting video and out there hiking, having fun, like I would definitely get lonely.
So do you think being on the trail makes you a different person to the one that you are at home, or out there you just simply yourself to the fullest?
Yeah, I'm definitely myself. I definitely get into work mode. So when I go on these trips, I enjoy them, but I'm also trying to capture them in the best way possible and have the best experience. So, and hiking solo is way different than hiking with other people. Like, my solo hikes are a bit moody, a little, they might feel a little sad. People call them relaxing, but honestly, like a little lonely is kind of the proper word for solo hikes, because that's what it is. You don't really have too many people to talk to other than the animals. And that's why I always get excited when I see the animals, because it's like the first characters I can introduce to the video other than myself. And, yeah, I would say I'm similar though.
Would you say you fight with the loneliness on the trail or not? Or you just accept it?
Yeah, I can do whatever I want. I'm not being forced to do these things. So if a trail isn't fun anymore, I'll duck off. I'll stop. Sometimes, a lot of times, I'll have 2 or 3 trails planned for a trip, but then after the first one, I felt like I got enough content and I'm just kind of tired and homesick, so I'll just leave. Yeah, most trips I plan out like if I'm feeling it. But I usually duck out after one, because it can kind of be boring. I guess boring ties up with loneliness a little bit.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Hiking is kind of supposed to be like a little boring. Like every so often you'll come across like really beautiful things that take your breath away and will make me say wow out loud by myself. But there's the miles and the hills and, the sleeping for 12 hours because you can't hike in the dark is definitely a thing. Which is fine. Like boring is very closely associated to like meditation. So it's kind of it's peaceful in a sense.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I've got a weird question and I hope you'll understand it. Is simplicity the pride or the top, as you will, of sophistication?
Simplicity. Yeah. I think I know what you mean. I would call it wisdom.
Okay.
I've always
that
respected,
makes more sense.
Yeah, I've always respected wise people, be people who just listen and don't feel the need to speak. I've always respected people who have wealth, but nobody knows it. I've always respected people who know the correct answer, but will only share it when it makes sense or they're asked. I don't know. There's a beauty to being reserved and simple. Like to not always crave more. It's definitely takes willpower to say no. And I really respect that. And I think there's a lot that aligns with simplicity and minimalism in practicing wisdom and I guess stoicism, but it's kind of, yeah. I'm not a stoic though. I don't know. Labels are weird. I always go back and forth. Like, it's
I
not
know
necessary.
what you mean. I've seen your video where you just said that. I've read only one page of this Stoic book.
Yeah.
I've been there, to be honest. I've been there. And most of the Stoics are not pure Stoics. So I've met a bunch and they don't follow the Stoic philosophy.
Yeah, maybe the correct way to be a Stoic is to not let anyone know that you're a Stoic and like just let your actions speak louder than words. And I guess that comes across through my videos as well. Like I would rather show and not tell. So
I will change the topic for a second right now, if you will, and ask you one question: is there a limit to your creativity, and in what area of life your creativity is useless? You think? Oh,
okay. So a limit to my creativity and a place or thing where my creativity is useless. You said useless.
Useless. Yeah. If you,
I don't know. Is that a rude word? Useless?
No, nothing's rude. That's interesting. Yeah, there's definitely a limit. With everything, I'm trying to be efficient. So I'm just trying to get the most out of anything I do with the least amount of work. Like, like if my videos do well and I'm happy with the amount of work I'm doing, like I'll upload less. Like I could think of a ton of different formats, different ways of documenting the trips I'm going on. I could make 6 different videos for every one video I'm making, a list of tutorials, but it's just, I just don't want to.
But do you do a lot of content for one trip, for example? Like, how many films could you make from one trip?
Yeah.
Films or photos or...
Yeah, there's a lot of different... So it's documenting the same experience, but repackaging and distributing in different ways. So I would call my YouTube videos medium format, where you can make short format, a ton. A ton of shorts, reels, and TikToks from one YouTube video, one trip. And then I could also make what I call long form, which is more typically podcast or guide, just talking about the experience and showing. So for my videos right now, my trips, like I'll start with a trailer, which kind of shows the trail really quickly in a beautiful way with drone footage usually. And then I'll switch to ground, which is a longer version. It's the same thing told in different ways. And then lastly, the third way is a very long, drawn out story about the trip, but with guides and maps and the gear and the behind the scenes. So, there's so many, like I could choose to do just one of them. Like I could just go out there with a drone and no actual camera on these hikes and just shoot drone footage and then just upload that. I could go on these trips and just take photos. And then after I get back, I could just do some kind of slideshow where I talk through all of the photos and the experience in that form. Like there's so many different ways, and it just depends on what you want to do versus how much value you get from it, whether it's reach, interest, impressions, people caring about what you're doing, or just direct money made from the project.
Okay, but these various ways that you can depict the story of your hike or of your trip are of course limited. Do you sometimes get bored of the way that you can portray the stories?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm always trying to think of different ways to keep myself interested.
So there's room for improvement, for pushing yourself further.
Yeah, it's definitely a balance of the value I get from it versus the amount of effort and joy that it takes to produce the content. So if,
Where do you look for inspirations for the new things, for the new ways?
Just the list of trails that I hope to do in the future. My interests shift. It's somewhat just I want to go to different places and have new experiences. And like I said, I want to see bigger and more beautiful mountains and just different things that people haven't really seen. It's just the thrill of exploring.
Oh, nice. Have you ever been to Poland? And we got there. we got to Poland finally.
No, I've never been yet. I do plan on going. The closest I've been was probably like Denmark.
Okay, but you have some place in mind, some particular region, or maybe some mountains or forests.
All I know is Warsaw. I don't know much about Poland other than that. As far as trails, I don't like. I think I'm assuming the mountains are south, similar to Germany, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know any specific mountains. I've never come across any popular hiking trails in Poland.
I mean, there are several, but they are old mountains and new mountains. The old ones are called Świętokrzyskie mountains, and they are like in the middle south of Poland, and the the big ones are called Tatry, and they're also on the Slovakia side of the border.
Yeah, I'm sure there's stuff to hike in every country. I just haven't naturally, organically come across any. And that's why I would like to automate and scale my research of these places, because my most popular video, Hornstrandir, from the tip of Iceland, a subscriber just messaged me a week before that trip and was like, you should go to Hornstrandir. I know you're going to Iceland. You should go to Hornstrandir. It's cool. I'm like, okay, what's that? I've never heard of it. So, that was a good suggestion.
Yeah, we recommend you Poland. Go to Poland. Eastern Europe in general, like technically Poland is not Eastern Europe. We are Central Europe, but everybody say we are in Eastern Europe. So let's say it is Eastern Europe. So the Eastern Europe, the whole Eastern Europe is really nice to hike. I do recommend. So if you'll find some time, just go ahead, and it's cheap. So
yeah, it's rather cheap. I mean, there is one place that it's like for me it's like the main place that you need to visit when you visit Poland, but it's also on the side of Belarus. But right now I think it's not possible to visit.
that would be dangerous.
It would be dangerous, yeah. And it's of course Białowieża Park, National Park, if you travel by forest as well.
Yeah, well, this would be a good opportunity for anyone listening to give me a one trail. Sometimes people will message me sending me like 10 or 20 ideas, and it's more helpful for me to know the best. So one trail.
Yep.
Yeah. I have that question on the list to ask you later on, but if we ask you about your creativity, what do you think about your copycats?
Yeah, so people who are making similar hiking videos, that's pretty cool. People have been making hiking videos way before me.
Yeah.
People have been making silent videos, hiking alone, past tripods way before me. I didn't invent that genre at all. It's fine. Yeah, people can do whatever they want. I can only control how I react to them, and I'm indifferent. It's all good. I'm happy if people are happy.
Okay, but I'm just asking you because when you started to get popular, like all of a sudden, every second video was like inspired by Kraig Adams in the title, even if there wasn't mentioned that it was inspired by you. if you would play it, it was clearly inspired by you. So I'm just asking, maybe you are, or maybe overwhelmed, or maybe tired of it, of the copycats. So yeah.
No, that's fine. I have intentionally incentivized people to do so. So
Okay.
every so often I'll watch or I'll give praise or attention to people who have done so, and that inspires other people to do the same. And I think more so people were just really inspired by the fact that someone's making these videos and making a profit, doing full-time job, and they are aspirational to have a similar job, which is fine. That's been a bulk of my audience. Less so entertaining people with my videos, more so aspirational creators trying to follow in my footsteps of learning how to have a unique have something to say, craft it in a way that people find interesting, and then monetize that attention. So it makes sense.
Yeah, you mentioned full time. That's a good segue to our next topic, which is new business. Your new business, Vagabond Trails. Is it a new business? Am I online?
Yeah, it's an association. I'd say it's a collaboration with a travel agency.
Yeah. What pushed you to start this? What was the indication to do so, to have that collaboration?
Yeah. So I have been making the perfect commercials to sell tickets for other people to come on these trips. So whether it's past hikes that I've already done, me redoing it, but with a group, or just new hikes,
Okay.
It's pretty easy for me to sell expensive tickets for people to go on trips. And this is like a new way that I would say millennials are interested in traveling. Instead of just going to a place, taking Instagram photos and then leaving, it might be more interesting if they actually go with the Instagrammers or the YouTubers who inspired them to go to the place in the first place. It's an interesting idea for a new type of travel.
Mhm.
And, so I've got 4 group trips planned for this year: Washington, USA, Iceland, Patagonia, Tour de Mont Blanc in Italy, Switzerland, France. I'm planning on launching a 5th in Nepal for November, but I'm still collecting users for that.
Mhm.
And it just might be fun. It might be fun to do some group hikes. And I would say the long-term goal is to not do this for every single hike, because that would be a lot of work for not much value.
Yeah.
Not as much value. There is some value in doing it, but to maybe like work towards an annual kind of wedding or Kraig Adams conference. So,
Okay.
getting a larger group of people to a place in association with other creator friends who have audiences, like-minded people, and then maybe going on a hike or two, eating, drinking, hotel, cool things. That'd be fun.
Kraig, I have a question because you mentioned millennials, and I wondered if you think that you like influencing the new generations of people to travel, is that very important for you? And well, I'm of course, I mean, it's important, but I'm interested in your take.
I don't really have too much vested interest in influencing that directly. It more just comes from me wanting to do cool things and get value out of the work that I'm doing.
By doing so, you are influencing people, and that's a fact. So I think I wonder if you think about it sometimes, like because traveling is important. It can broaden your thinking about the world, and and like broaden your knowledge, your empathy.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, as much as I can, I try to be indifferent to the effect. If it's good, that's good. But, the more that I feel like it's a distraction to worry about that stuff. So as much as I can, I just try to focus on me.
Yeah.
Are you not scared you're going to get, I don't know, maybe bored, or maybe you're just gonna feel sick of trails because of the people you traveling with and hiking with.
Oh, on the actual group hikes?
Yeah.
I think that would be a healthy thing to deal with. I think it's very good to get out of your comfort zone. And, you know, for a couple days, the least I could do is go hang out with some people. And I don't think anything could ruin that. For the harder hikes, obviously we screen for experience level. But for the tame trips and the tame hikes, I welcome anyone. It's all good.
Maybe I'll save some money and join you one day if I'll have time.
You're more than welcome. I'm also trying to figure out of like ways to not just open the floodgate to everyone, but you know, I would like to, as much as I can, have people that I know and potentially, you know, creator friends come with me on these hikes. And technically anyone could buy a ticket. So like if my brother or sister wanted to come, like they could obviously hit me up for a discount or something, but it's open to everyone. You're more than welcome to come.
Actually, when I found out about the Vagabond Trails, I was like, okay, I've got a reason to save money now. I've got a next question, which is related to one of the interviews you had. I don't remember who was it, who was it for? Doesn't matter. But the guy asked you a question and you replied, if I don't have an answer next 10 seconds, I just didn't think about it before. And you typed the question into your phone.
Okay.
It impressed me. And is it a self-awareness? But do you try to improve as a person by doing that?
Okay. So what happened? Like, so during one of my live streams, someone asked a question and I didn't have an answer for it and I couldn't figure out an answer.
If I don't have an answer in the next 10 seconds, that means I didn't think about this question before. So you typed it into your phone straight away.
Yeah, I do. And I think I have, and I will continue. I feel like that's true for everyone. How you go about it might be different person to person. Personally, I take inspiration from Ray Dalio and principles. And so more input, data analysis, and then revisit with the process. So more algorithm-based algorithms. So as much as I can take note of how things make me feel and how I deal with problems and then code it into a database so that if it comes up again, I know how to deal with it differently. So
I watch your videos a lot, to be honest. And not only the views that makes me excited about it, I watch your videos mainly because I just envy you when I watch them, and that enviness motivates me to find time to hike as often as I can and to find best places. And what do you think majority of the people why they actually watch you, why they follow you, why they like your content?
Yeah, I don't know the actual percentages. I'm sure there's a small amount of people who travel through the videos. So they may never, ever get to these locations, but they're interested and they feel like they hiked it in some sense by watching the video. A larger section of people are aspirational for the lifestyle that would allow someone to go on these trips and these hikes. And then there's a large section of people who will go on these hikes, but are just trying to be efficient with their time and money. So they're looking for how-tos, the trails, the advice. So I don't know what the breakdown of those numbers are, but I think I understand my audience.
Okay.
But like I said before, the more I can focus on just doing what I want to do, it seems counterintuitive. And I think most creators always try to anticipate their audience's needs and desires. And I think it slows you down. There's definitely value in like asking like, what video should I make next? Or what should I do? But it should always be taken with a grain of salt. And I think when you have your own unique voice and you follow it, and trust your intuitions and do something unique, it pays off bigger in the long run.
About that salt, let's talk about salty people that watch your videos, that follow you. I found few comments under your videos on YouTube, and let me just read it out to you. When you traveled during COVID, people called you irresponsible. People called you irresponsible in general. You minimize the toughness of the hikes by the way you make your videos. Now warning people about how challenging the hike is. That you drink beer before your hikes. That is irresponsible, apparently. There's no salt to your videos. I would never agree to that. And the other one, and the last one was when you have to backtrack each shot to pick up your camera. That defeats the purpose of the hiking. And I know that I picked the really dicky ones. I wouldn't call them hate comments. They are like really rough criticism, I would say, and some of them are salty, like very salty. And what do you think about that kind of people?
Yeah, people are free to comment and have whatever thoughts they want. But it's up to me to choose whether I want to, one, see them in the first place, or let them change anything. And I think indifference is really powerful and has helped me more than it has hurt me. So I try to practice and strengthen that muscle as much as possible. If someone is outright hateful or just incredibly critical with no effort of helping or making things better, I'll block them. So, that's one and done. And I think YouTube has the beautiful feature of a block, but they don't know they're blocked. I don't really know the mechanics of it, but the less I can see those things, the better. True criticism will find a way through.
Yeah, that's true.
Through people you trust. And the same thing with news. I don't consume news. It comes through me when it needs to. So yeah, they can do whatever. They're giving me views. They're giving me engagement with comments. So all in all, I thank them, and I empathize, because I've never left a mean or critical comment on YouTube. I barely ever comment, like maybe once or twice per year. Yeah. So there's a lot of people who watch my videos who never commented and never will, and never liked or shown engagement other than the metric that they watched. And that's a huge percentage of people. So the people who literally find the time to criticize for no good effect, that's a troubled individual. So I pity them in a sense.
That's good. That's a good approach. To be honest, I think that criticism is just easier than being polite and being nice to someone. Like, to be honest, I need to remind myself to click the like button sometimes when I watch your videos or videos on YouTube in general. Just I forget about it, even though I enjoyed your content. I'm just like, yeah, okay, done and dusted. Thank you.
Done and dusted. I've never heard that before. I love that. I'm definitely using that. Done and dusted. Oi. Done and dusted. Oi.
Yeah, I've got some English influence.
Love it.
Kraig, do you feel successful? Like, not only in your hiking ventures, but in general, and in social media, perhaps on YouTube.
Yeah, I feel successful in the fact that I have the correct amount of freedom that I expect for me to have at this age, and I feel like things are getting better. Which I think is the most important, because everyone is at different levels or situations. But true despair is being somewhere and not getting better or getting worse, So if you're making more money, if you're gaining more freedom, if you're gaining more love and empathy with the people you care about, that's good.
Was the road to this place that you are and now difficult and long, or you just you just happen to be right where you are, and
Yeah, it's been a long road of shooting video and editing and trying to figure out good ways of convincing people to care and to buy things when I try to influence that. It's been over 10 years.
10
I've
years.
been doing this for a while, and a lot of that's kind of not easy to know by looking at my stuff. I've deleted channels, I've hid videos. Some people might just look at my channel and think that I just started making hiking videos 3 years ago, and that's the start of it, but it's far from the truth. It's been a compound interest kind of thing, and it will continue to get better.
So there were a lot of experiments on the way. Yeah.
Yeah, and people learn differently. I learn by doing. In hindsight's 2020, but my college tuition would have been better spent just getting out there and making videos and starting my business from day one and making mistakes, because I learn when I'm interested and when I'm able to experiment and make mistakes myself. I don't learn through other people teaching me things.
Have you ever thought about teaching someone how you do your stuff?
Yeah, I've experimented with all the typical cliche, workshops and one-on-one coaching sessions and tutorials and stuff like that. But I've found that I don't like it, and it's hard for me to sell something that I wouldn't buy myself, which, it's not, I'm not saying that education isn't correct and isn't for everyone, but it's difficult for me to see the value when it's just not how I would learn. So I typically shy away from education in that sense. I would much more just share my experience and hope someone gets and learns something from it.
Okay.
Just share reality and just try to paint it vividly and honestly. And I think a lot of learnings can come from that. And I think that's a better way to go about it. And charging for education is, I'm not a fan. So
Have you ever watched a video of one of your copycats and you said to yourself, it's like 1-to-1, like my stuff?
Yeah, the set up a tripod and walk past, I typically hadn't seen, but I guess once you start looking for something, you see it everywhere. It doesn't really matter too much. I've never had that thought. It's people can do whatever they want.
I've seen your brother started a YouTube channel. Am I right? I think last year.
Yeah,
Hiking channel.
he's a much more experienced hiker than I am, and
I think you mentioned something that your first hikes were with him.
Yeah, he was definitely, like, my confidence level of hiking right now is probably where he was like 4 or 5 years ago. So he definitely helped me along that road, even though he's a year younger than me. He's right now he's hiking from Canada to Mexico along the Rockies. So he's in Colorado right now. But he started taking a GoPro on his hikes and just doing a first person POV, simple video, which is great.
You can see he wants to differentiate from your content.
Yeah, it's the same thing I do, but just simpler, easier. It's like what we talked about. There's so many different ways you can capture and share it. And we talked about like how he should, and we both agreed that like minimum viable product would be just handheld GoPro with no audio other than music in a montage highlight. I came from shooting weddings, and like just editing a whole wedding into a single song where you mute the clips and then just do a music song highlight. That's the easiest way to go about it. And that's a good place to start. So I guess he's doing that version, but with hiking. So I'm happy for him.
You mentioned again that you film weddings, and I knew very well about it before our conversation, but didn't want to spend too much time asking you about stuff you did, because I think it's done and dusted. So But I wanted to ask you about biggest wedding fuck up you were witness of or happened to you during the filming.
Yeah, I shot a lot of weddings, and that raises the risk level for mess ups, and I've definitely had my fair share. When I was younger, which I guess is not really an excuse, but I just didn't have redundancies. So every so often you would lose audio sections or run out of batteries, or just something would mess up with audio. So I would start to put more microphones and redundancies. But the biggest mess up, I've done bad stuff. I've overslept and missed part of the ceremony, like speeding in my car, trying to catch up, and just showing up at a place and a time, like getting the location wrong. This was before smartphones and before Google Maps. Like I remember printing out MapQuest to try to find out where these places were. And this was me like borrowing a car from my parents and just being a kid doing things. So, yeah, I made fewer and fewer mistakes as I became more legitimate as a business out of college.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about your dog. I saw on Instagram that you have a dog for I think a few months now.
Yeah, Sasha is sleeping right next to me right now.
Yeah,
she's a miniature Australian Shepherd, but she's not very mini. She's 45 pounds right now, and her parents were like 35. So we're like, well, what's going on with that? But she's great. She's a working farm dog, so she needs some space to run. New York City might be a little too cramped for her, and yeah, I love her.
Have you started hiking with her, or have you got plans for hiking with her?
She was a little too small for the previous hiking season. She was just a puppy. She's about 1 year old right now, so she's getting to the point where she might be able to. But we walk 5 miles every day here in New York City and go to the dog park. I haven't taken her on anything big, but we're moving to Denver in a couple days, and we're buying our first car. So just having a car changes things, and I'm definitely going to see how she likes it. Because if she's off leash and obedient and like good on the hikes, that'll make it easier. Because I've hiked once with another dog, a family dog, in the upstate New York, and it was extra work. I remember it being like harder than I thought. Like,
yeah, sometimes it's slowing you down even.
Yep, and just. Yeah, even like just before and after the hike, like restaurants, like trying to find a place that has outdoor, and just hotels that are okay with her, and there's just extra stuff that you have to worry about.
Yeah. And of course, not every dog is used to like long walks, very long walks. Yeah, for example, not every breed is used to those kinds of tiring situations.
Absolutely. I've known dogs that have gotten bloody paws from rocks on hikes unexpectedly. And I've been on hikes with my brother, and we brought his friend's 3-legged dog up a Colorado 14er, and the dog got tired at the top and wouldn't walk anymore. So we had to carry a dog for 5 miles down a mountain, which is hard.
We nearly finished, but we got a few more easy questions. So shorts all year. How to deal with being that guy?
Like wearing shorts.
Yeah, wearing shorts. Like, I'm that guy, to be honest, and I only wear longer trousers, pants, whatever. November, December, and that's it.
Yeah, I remember caring what people thought of me for what I wear, and then minimalism happened, and I just got rid of everything, and now I've got 2 pairs of pants and just like a couple pairs of shorts, and as much as I can, I'll wear shorts. I get it.
Yeah, but I had one topic because I was browsing your Instagram page, and there were some posts about gaming. and I wondered if you consider yourself a nerd or in some kind.
Yeah, I've been playing video games all my life. I grew up on them, so I've got the full gaming PC with the dual monitor setup, so I can game and stream most anything I want. I'm pretty particular with the types of games I play, though. I'll be honest.
What genre is your favorite?
Right now, automation is pretty fun. This is games like Satisfactory, Factorio, Dyson Sphere. Yeah, funny stuff. So definitely nerdy. Yeah.
Okay, but do you treat like gaming as a sort of escapism, like hiking, or is just like some simple activity to turn off your brain for a few minutes?
Yeah, there's what it is, and then there's what we convince it might be.
Okay.
I've found myself playing probably way too much. But an addiction is a habit that you do repeatedly that gives you a negative effect. So, as much as I can, I try to downplay the negative effect, but it's an escape. It's relaxing. It's a form of meditation. It's some sort of Cal Newport deep work when you really get into a game and you feel like you're living in a different place in a different world. If I could build factories and like automate and do all the crazy things I can do in these space games and colony games, like I would do it, but I'm not Jeff Bezos, so I can't play that game in real life. Sure. So I'd rather do it here.
Smart.
Too much. It's just like the amount of effort and joy versus the amount of value you get out of it. So as much as I can, I'm trying to increase the value from these things that I enjoy and spend my time doing. And I constantly compare it to other things I could be spending my time with. But, starting a gaming channel and like monetizing and creating content around the things that I already do in my life would make sense. That would increase the value. Probably add a little bit more work, but...
Aren't you already on Twitch?
Yeah, I'm on Twitch. Streaming is a different beast, though. I think I might prefer just playing how I want to play and recording and then making some kind of story or video after the fact. But like hiking, there's a million different ways to do it. So some people just stream everything and upload VODs and call it a day. Some people, record for a month and then upload a 2-minute video. So it is what it is.
I know that you played Cyberpunk from CD Projekt Red, and I wondered if you played The Witcher also.
No, I've seen the video. I've seen the show, but I've never played the game. I'm pretty sure I would like it. I just haven't really played games like that in a while.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. I wonder because this type of genre is very immersive, and maybe you could get some inspiration for your hiking from there or something like that.
Yeah, it would be fun. I do know that Factorio is a Polish team. So that those guys are rad.
Last question. Besides hiking, besides your vlogging life, personal life, besides games, is there any other thing that you're interested in? Like any other hobbies you could spend your time and create new content on YouTube?
Yeah, other than the main channel really encompasses almost everything that I find interesting. So traveling, eating, probably cooking would probably be something I'd be interested in. I did grow up working for my dad's company as an electrician. So I am interested, if you look at my YouTube watch history, you'll find a lot of weird videos that are like breaking down a solid state drive and explaining like the process of how it works and like building, PCBs, the circuit boards for different things. In the past, I very easily could have been some kind of engineer for electronics or something like that. I think an engineer was what I originally planned on being when I was in school, but then someone told me I could just be a filmmaker. So I was like, okay, let's do that.
To be honest, I'm happy you picked this path because we can enjoy your videos on YouTube. Actually, that's it. We're not going to waste your time.
No, I'm gonna go eat some lunch, continue packing. I thought there was gonna be video, and I had to explain all the boxes behind me for the move. But yeah, take puppy to the park and just continue to say goodbye to New York City. I'm happy to be leaving, but sad to be leaving what I think is the best city in the world. So
Hope you will enjoy your farewell, and you will also enjoy your new home, and there will be no trouble with the move. And I really appreciate you've accepted our invitation, and thank you for the conversation.
Yeah, me too.
thanks, guys.
W dzisiejszym podcaście to już wszystko. Jeżeli nagranie przypadło Ci do gustu, zostaw komentarz. Jeżeli nie przypadło, również zostaw komentarz. Prosimy o suby, lajki i inne dzwonki, które pozwolą nam rozwinąć skrzydła. Dzięki!